Hello and welcome back in to the Mountain Brook Athletics channel. I'm William Galloway, and I'm pleased to be joined today by Justin Ransom, the wrestling head coach at Mountain Brook High School, defending champion, back-to-back-to-back duels champion. Coach Ransom, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm great. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. Hey, it's been a heck of a year so far, and you guys are trying to defend your 6A traditional state title. You won your third duels title in a row, so obviously a lot to be happy about and a lot of success so far this season. But how would you, as coach, kind of define the journey that you guys have been on?
Uh, I'd say the number one thing is adversity. Is kind of our definition of our season, really this year, and overcoming things on the way to the duels title, and to be able to, to go three in a row with that. Um, Other than that, I mean, it's been a great little run. We have a great group of guys, strong senior leadership group, and everybody's just in here working hard.
Wrestling is a sport. When you think of the word adversity, that really comes to mind near the top of the list. You face different types of adversity each and every year, but kind of talk about what your guys have been through to get to this point, to put themselves in a position not only to win the dual state championship, but also try and defend their 6A state title here this weekend in Huntsville.
Yeah, unfortunately, as with all sports, especially contact sports, injuries do arise, whether it, in and out. We had Daniel Ellis out for 6 weeks with injury, Wyatt Chavez, Stuart Andrews out with injury. The positive part about overcoming adversity is everything kind of, in our benefit came together at the right time. And actually, the first time all year we had our full lineup on the mat was at that state duels championship. And the results when we can put our full healthy team out there together, it showed what we can do and we're capable of.
And you mentioned a lot of those guys, but one thing I like to do here, especially when we talk to coaches, is talk about athletes specifically. So we can go up and down your roster, varsity JV guys, just talk about some of your contributors and guys that have put you in a prime position. Because we'll talk about this in a moment. Last year, I don't know if it was one or if we had any individual state champions in the traditional state tournament, but enough guys that were there to give you lots of success. So tell me a little bit about your roster. If someone hasn't had the chance to come out and see you guys, whether it's been at the high school or at duels, or hopefully we can get some people up to Huntsville this weekend. But tell us about your guys and what they all bring to the table.
Yeah, we're taking 10 guys up to Huntsville that qualified for the state tournament. And that matches kind of any other team in the state. We got a strong roster. We're returning 5 state finalists, strong leader, strong senior group of that with Jude Smith, Stuart Andrews, one of those, Daniel Ellis. Um, those guys have been our strong part of our lineup. And then really to when we play our lineup, we talk about the top end and the bottom end and the middle. And kind of during duels, everybody, we call it kind of our murderer's row. I would say our lightweights, from our 106-pounder Bobby Rutkoff, senior state placer, up until we have our sophomore returning third place state, Davis Smith at 132. Wyatt Chavez, David Newell, sophomore, and Steven Springfield are all lumped in there. And when you look at that group, especially the duels lineup, when we hit that little run there, if we're leading into that, we have as coaches, we have 100% confidence that we're going to take the mat and take it by storm at that point.
And obviously, you're one of those process-oriented coaches. We got so many of those at Mount Brook High School, and a great leader. And it's not just all about the winning, but developing the kids as well. What is your message to your guys? What was it at duels, and what is it now? As really, the goal isn't to necessarily defend, but to go out and do your best to put yourself in the best position to be able to become a champion. How do you convey that message to your guys to try and have success this weekend?
Uh, Duels and traditional are a whole different animal. Duels is more about being selfless. Like, what can you do for your team? Like, can you do this? And then when we switch gears after that, it becomes a more of like, how can we help you accomplish your goals? Be a little selfish now and work towards your individual goal. Because if our guys do it, if they all achieve their individual goals, then the team championship is going to take care of itself. So we really put that into the guys and have our biggest things we always tell them is we tell them we want 2 things from them every day when they walk through these doors or step on the mat. And it's attitude and effort. Bring a positive attitude and give us effort. If the results don't go our way and we give everything we had, we can live with that. But if we don't give the effort, that's a different story. So our guys, they kind of light a fire under each other. They come in, and they push each other into conversations and practice, occasional push against the wall and stuff like that to get each other fired up. They really just hold each other accountable. And I think it's with years of culture, and this group's been together so long, and the young guys have grown up through it. It's kind of helped them push each other to make sure they hold each other accountable.
You talk about years of culture, and that's something I want to emphasize and press you a little bit on because obviously wrestling is something that has grown, one of the fastest growing sports, especially in Mountain Brook, from down to the middle school, even some in the elementary level. But talk about the growth of the sport here in our community, and obviously you're leading the charge in that, but how it's been able to grow and be so successful, and kind of the how and the why and the history of wrestling in Mountain Brook, if you don't mind expanding.
Yeah, Mountain Brook Wrestling. They've had some good teams over the years, but it was more centered around the good individuals rather than the team component. When I came to Mountain Brook 12 years ago, I remember walking in and there being 6 guys on a roster. So at that point, it's like, all right, yeah, I want to develop these guys, but we have to get this program going from bottom to top. And I think it starts with, we have a great youth program that's run out of our high school wrestling room 2 days a week, all youth. And I think our numbers finished with around 45 this year. Up into our junior high program, Coach Crocker, retired state championship coach at the high school levels, has been over there running that for us. And we're all about growing numbers and then finding those kids that want to commit to it and buy in and develop. And we've kind of went from having, 9 freshmen each year, 10 freshmen each year. Now we're up to 15, 17 freshmen are coming to the high school program. And when you look at our high school roster, it's one of the biggest in the state. I think we were at 55 this year. So it's become more of a buy-in individually, and we have a great group of guys that I think of like everybody else is wanting to join them on the ride, I guess you would say. Not jump on while we're winning, it's hot, but it's more like my friends are doing this, maybe I should try it. And the good thing about
Absolutely.
wrestling, that's a sport you don't have to be the most athletic. Most people don't start doing it at age 6. They're out there, but it's not like your general sports, your t-ball, your soccer, basketball. So wrestling's not as much like that. So the chance to make gains faster at a later level is very common. So
And
especially
the
when you
the
buy in.
sizing too. I was going to say you talked about Chavez and you talk about Daniel Ellis. You got a great scale of people that you can be involved in. Um, Talk about what it means to you to have that experience growing the program, but to also be here at Mountain Brook. We like to ask people about their experience in Mountain Brook, and you mentioned 12 years, and so we talked about kind of the development of the program, but the kids, the parents, the community. When we go out to Bill Harris Arena and we see, just hundreds of students and parents yelling and screaming and fired up for your guys. What does that mean to you to be able to lead this program and be here at Mountain Brook?
I tell my parents this every year, several times, the support that they give and provide, not just us as coaches, but the school to help with the facilities and really for the kids as well, is it can't be matched anywhere else you go. I have friends in programs that they're like, how do you get this to work? How does this happen? Uh, I think it's the parents and the community are so supportive of what we do, and they believe in us as coaches that it allows us to really just focus on the X's and the O's and be able to work with the wrestlers and be able to develop then rather and everybody else kind of helps us take care of the other stuff without that being an issue. Like you said, Bill Harris Arena. I mean, we had 300 students there last year and the year before cheering us on. And even with it being a weekend this past weekend, with weather days, I mean, we still had a strong student showing more than any other team did in the state. The community sport, and I guess just a buy-in to want to see success. Like you see it from the wrestlers, the students here, even in the classroom, everybody wants to succeed. Everybody wants to do well. But a lot of that does come from the top down, whether it's from our administration conveying that message and holding our students and wrestlers and athletes accountable. And then back to the parents as well. Because I mean, they're a big driving force in the success in the classroom and what we have athletically here.
Absolutely. All right, Justin Ransom, Coach, thank you so much for your time. As we always like to do on our interviews and shows and everything we do here, specifically when it comes to interview style content, want to leave the floor open to you. So anything you want to share, whether it's a message to your student athletes, the community, the fans, teams of the past, teams of the future, the floor is yours to share a little bit from the heart.
Well, the only thing I can say is advocate for the sport of wrestling. It's a very little known sport, especially in Alabama, especially at Mountain Brook. I got to advocate for it. It can do wonders for the development of especially these young student athletes with the discipline it builds in them, character, the resilience. There's nothing like having to step out there one on one, and you're on your own. There's no one to help you, at that point, and you got to be able to compete. And at the end of the day, or at the end of the match, when it's all over, win or lose, you got to be able to step up and shake the opponent's hand, regardless of the outcome, and be able to own that individually. So wrestling's a great sport for development, and I encourage everybody to, if you haven't given it a shot or haven't looked into it, it's a sport for everybody. Like you said, we have the smallest senior in Mountain Brook High School and the biggest senior in Mountain Brook High School on our wrestling team. So it's a sport for all athletic abilities, at all sizes and weights.
It is the ultimate man in the arena sport, in my opinion. And so, congratulations on all the success you've had so far. Looking forward to this weekend. I think it's going to be broadcasted live on NFHS Network. If folks can't make it up to Huntsville, that's correct. So, if you can't make it up to Huntsville, check your NFHS login and watch the Spartans. We've got Spartans competing in 10 of 14 weight classes. Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck this weekend to all your guys, and collectively, that'll hopefully make up for a lot of team success and the Spartans trying to defend their 6A wrestling state championship this weekend. Go Spartans, and thanks for your time.
All right. Thanks for having us.